All right, we are back for the final time potentially with Echo, unless we do some type of like theory crafting episode after this. But this is the finale for Jenna's route and the finale for our playthrough with Echo. Let's
I feel
go.
like you always do at the end of something, like where you're like, "Oh, I'm excited to see this resolve," but I'm also feel like I'm like a part of my life is ending at this point. We've been at this game for like what, 3 years?
Well,
2 years. 2 years.
Hmm.
We're like around 2 years and a month at the moment, and I'm trying to get this to be released on Halloween. So I'm really excited about this. That way it comes out
I
on the
am too.
2 year anniversary of our channel as well.
That would be cool. Woot woot.
All right.
hi.
Whenever you're ready, Flynn.
Fuck you.
Jenna smiles tiredly up at the big Gila.
I knew you had some common sense in there somewhere, and maybe even a heart.
That doesn't come through. Pitch. Pitch. Get stuck here because I'm the only fucker who knows about... Yeah. Get stuck here because I'm the only fucker who knows how to shoot, and someone needs to watch your asses.
He pauses.
Also, I just want know my aunt would kill me if I let this shit go down.
My aunt would kill me if I destroyed her town. That is currently under a horror situation, but never mind.
Her being the mayor and all?
Yeah. Since when did you suddenly start giving a shit about Echo Townsies?
The question is clearly directed at Jenna, the lizard grunting in her direction. Jenna shifts in her seat, having to straddle in between Flynn. His truck isn't very big, and none of us particularly wanted to ride in the back. Besides TJ, of course, who always seemed to enjoy being in the truck bed. Fortunately, I managed to call shotgun. Which may not have been the wisest thing to shout when everyone was on edge, but too late now.
I don't know.
She says all matter-of-factly. This evokes a raised brow from the lizard.
I just thought about myself leaving everything behind like that, knowing what might happen. And I didn't want to be that person.
Flynn blinks, wondering if this is truly Jenna he's talking to right now.
But college does make you a bleeding heart, doesn't it?
Oh no.
Leo wasn't good.
He sighs, the highway stretching out in front of us for miles and miles. Jenna turns to me, giving me an appraising look before speaking.
Thank you for coming, Chase. I know you didn't have to, but it means a lot.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Every inch of my body longs to be heading homeward, driving back to Peyton, to freedom. But here I am. At least Jenna's here. Despite everything that's happened. Brian's attack, the hallucinations, the kidnapping, the haunted van, the voice in my head, Heather's house, and the town going nuts. Everyone is silent as our headlights shine down the long stretch of Route 65 ahead. Maybe we're just exhausted. Physically, emotionally, spiritually? I exhale and rest my forehead against the cool window, watching the town's lights blur past. Soon the lights stop and are replaced by darkness, shadows of shapes barely visible through the condensation-tinged glass. We never go this way. No one does. We're getting close to Echo Canyon. The bumps and hills of Echo being replaced by vast open desert, contrasted by the sheer cliff face of the western mesa. There's not much out here but land owned by the feds, most notably the dam and the old proving grounds. I remember there used to be a checkpoint booth up ahead, but it hasn't been manned in decades. It's here you can see the lake most clearly. All of it. It seems...
Sorry.
All of it. Good.
It seems smaller than I remember. Yet there's still that tightness in my gut, and the urge to look away. So I do. I keep my eyes fixed on the space between my feet. Flynn's camouflage patterned floor, oddly captivating. That's when I notice a blinking green light shining through my left pocket. Instinctively, I think it's my phone and reach for it, but then I remember as I pull it out. It's the pink walkie-talkie, baby monitor thing from earlier. I run my thumb over the surface of it, feeling the worn, chipped plastic. It looks like there might even be little teeth marks on the side, like a small child gnawed on it at some point. I remember being like that, thinking everything colorful must be some edible dessert, waiting to be bitten into. I press my thumb against what I think is the talk button, but any labels on this thing have long worn off. Bringing the device up a little, I open my mouth as if to speak, but stop short of actually saying anything. I realize I don't want to freak the others out right now. Seeing the lake again, I look back down. Harry, you want to be this?
What's this?
Hello, good sir.
I freeze. Hello? Flynn looks over at me. Jenna stares ahead.
Hello, good sir.
That same voice, crackling and old, spoken in the same cadence as before. I glance over, and Flynn's gone back to focusing on driving, and Jenna's still looking at the road blankly. No one's reaching to this thing going off. No one's reacting to this thing going off.
Hello, good sir.
Is that a voice really coming from this old toy? I stare at the flashing green light and a reminder of the van from earlier. That voice felt much more vivid, alive, real sound. This one is like I'm remembering a sound, but I've never heard this voice before.
And how are you?
Huh?
This is weird.
Honestly,
And how are you?
I don't remember this scene, funny enough. It repeats. It's distorted, but it sounds like a woman's voice. I've been better, that's for sure.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh. I guess it can read my thoughts? That's comforting.
Things will get better soon.
I really don't remember this.
Neither do I.
Is this maybe something they added for the anniversary edition?
Maybe?
I'll check the original edition at some point again to see if this was here. I start to consider sliding the walkie back into my pocket. Nothing this thing is saying can be doing me any good right now.
Yeah.
Especially noting that I'm the only one hearing it. Just more hallucinations. Crazy swamp gas, tulpa bullshit. It doesn't seem to be saying anything now. The minutes pass and I begin to relax some. I look past the device in my paw. The night sky reflected upon the surface of the lake. A streak of white light where the moon is.
Not your fault.
The voice comes through a little clearer. What do you mean?
Not your fault. Intentions pure.
The words start coming out even choppier, as if hastily clipped from an audio file.
It was a loving act, and one cannot fault themselves for a loving act.
What are you talking about?
I wish we could talk. More. But you have places to be. Places to be.
The road begins taking us into the canyon proper, and the light on the walkie flicks off. That scene was something, and it's given me some theories that I'll talk about later.
I think I understand what that was, yeah.
I've never actually been here before, I mutter.
Fascinating. Now keep your fucking voice down. I can see your car up by the service building.
We're not losing the element of surprise this time. The building itself isn't too large, only about 500 square feet with windows on all sides. We creep forward, Flynn with rifle in grasp. Micah, Carl, TJ, and Leo are hunkered down behind the truck, out of the line of fire. Leo had been pretty insistent on going with us to approach, but both Jenna and Micah agreed it would probably be a bad idea. Unsurprisingly, we're the only vehicles parked out here.
Come up. Wub, it's your line.
Well, it's not
All
Love's
right.
line.
Oh,
Jenna whispers,
what?
wiggling her paws out on either side of her, as if
Wub
to
is
shake
back
the nerves
up,
out.
Jenna.
No, Wub is not.
Oh.
It should have been Marvel. Thank you very much.
Okay, where's Lady? Lady.
I'm going to announce myself and approach. Flynn, please just keep line of sight.
Maybe she won't be as crazy out here? You know, on account of it being, less hummy or whatever? Flynn looks utterly goddamn perplexed at whatever I'm talking about. Honestly, I don't fully understand myself, but its effects were pretty damn evident earlier.
Well, that's a theory.
A game theory.
It's great when even Jenna's like, uh-huh. Yeah, that's totally right.
It's all Jenna says, giving my waist a gentle pat, to which I frown.
Hey, I need a setup.
Flynn eyes now cropping along the side of the canyon edge next to us, pointing to it. The slope isn't too steep to climb, and the bushes and rocks act as natural cover for a vantage point.
I'll be up there. If you need me to shoot, just make the Charlie horse symbol behind your back or something.
The Charlie horse symbol? I ask. Flynn rolls his eyes, then moves his hands down to his thigh and makes the OK gesture with his fingers, but turned upside down. I recognize it instantly, moments before Flynn strikes my thigh with his knuckles. Ah! Jen quickly shoves her paw over my muzzle, shooting a glare at Flynn. Also, Flynn, I don't think fully remembers that Chase just got fucking stitches there.
To be fair, I don't think everybody ever explained that to him.
They
I
did
don't-
treat the wounds a little bit.
No,
He talked about getting everyone medical attention.
yeah, I thought they just brought everybody like painkillers.
He's just being a dumbass. He's Flynn. He's a kind of lovable dumbass.
I don't think no one even told Flynn about that.
Yeah, at least, they at least don't explain that anyone told it to
Look,
him.
Jenna, okay, if I may, one thing I love about Jenna's character and the art they do on her character, look at that face.
Yep.
That is like best version of bitch mode, right? Like that's like
Flynn. Unacceptable.
Flynn appears unapologetic, checking the lever of his repeater.
Okay, I'm heading up.
Jenna lets out a little puff of air, her tail still behind her. Flynn turns, glancing back at her.
I got your back.
She gives the Gila a grateful nod.
Thank you, Flynn.
There's a pause, and she speaks again.
I'm glad you've cooled down since your outburst at the river.
Jeez, Jenna.
now's the time to talk about this.
I
might die.
know how much you wanted to talk.
There's a strange timing to Jenna's words, a finality to them. as if she's getting words unsaid out in the open before facing the danger that waits us. I think Flynn recognizes this, and he stops.
Sid's dead. You two ain't yet. Let's keep it that way.
And that's the thing I kind of love
Wow.
about this route is this is the alternate version of what happened with Flynn. Flynn, at the end of his own route, had two people that he cared about, Daxton and Carl, and yet still couldn't let go of Sydney. Here he's like letting that go and recognizing it's better to focus on the people that are alive.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rough thing to say out loud, though, man.
Oh
To
yeah.
be fair, the thing that you're not I mean, that... No, I mean, you say it's a rough thing to say out loud. I think it's not for Flynn.
Mm-hmm.
I think Flynn has been the most vocal about the fact that Sydney's dead. When everyone else is like, "Oh, you shouldn't talk about it," he's actually like, "No, like this is our friend. Why am I the only one who's like?"
Oh, I'm
you know,
he's for Flynn
Yeah.
saying that Sydney's dead is respecting Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For everybody else, they're like, "Oh, that's," but for him, he's like, "No, that's." But like the biggest thing that I feel like you're now mentioning is like, I feel like Flynn got to this point in his own route. The only difference is the devil on his shoulder, literally looking to make a deal with him, isn't here.
That is true.
Kept pushing those buttons.
Yeah, like what if I have a literal like disembodied flaming voice for like, "Hey, I can help you find out what happened to your friend," like. Yeah, that'd be an experience. Not a great one, but an experience.
I mean, also within his own route, he gets kind of teased with the idea that he'll learn something, and he gets some information. Here, he doesn't really get any information still, and now he's just faced with this situation of all your friends are in mortal danger. Do you really want to try and dig more for that info right now, or do you want to focus on getting people alive out of here?
Yeah, which is kind of the point I'm getting at, is it's like, why would I ever worry about that?
Yeah, because he's not getting spoon-fed, hey, here's this nice, like, little bit of info right now, like he was in his own route.
Yeah.
Either
There's
way.
no carrot being dangled in front of him.
Mm-hmm. Jen and I stand there for a moment. Wow, I mutter. I can tell it's an oversimplification of Flynn's feelings on the matter, but right now, that particular spat can wait. The others are starting to peek their heads out from behind the truck, wondering what we're doing. Not too late to back out, you know?
Come on, Chase. Of course, I do appreciate the sentiment. I could always just take Carl's advice, though.
He spoke to you? He was zonked out in the truck bed last I saw. She nods, lowering herself to a crouched position. I do the same with a grimace.
He mumbled, "Suplex her."
Thanks, Carl.
I let out an amused exhale through my nose, untangling my tail from a bush I was pushing through. Oh, Carl. Good to have him back. As we approach, I can see the front door to the service building is open, light spewing out from the inside. We're far enough away from our truck that it isn't really visible. We prop ourselves up on either side of the door. Sniffling and distraught mumbling can be heard from inside, including the rapid flipping of pages and clicking noises from a computer terminal.
Hey, Heather?
The noises stop. Oh boy. Jenna looks over at me, lowering her voice.
Chase, you may want to get back.
What? No, I'm not leaving you.
Jenna? You followed me?
Here we go again. Jenna comes out from her cover, and I peek in as well. Inside a computer with a bunch of monitors hooked up on the wall is turned on. One of these monitors has a window open called Floodgate Control. Maybe she knew what she was doing after all.
Chase?
I grimace, trying to quickly shift it into a smile. Hi. I can practically feel the cringe from Jenna beside me. I don't know why I said hello like that. Long night. I clear my throat. We wanted to make sure you were okay, and maybe see if you wanted to maybe reconsider your course of action? Heather reaches over toward the desk, and next thing I know, she has her pistol trained on us. We quickly duck back behind the wall.
You stop me.
Oh.
I know what I have to do. I saw the future in like a dream. A walking dream.
Waking, but yeah.
A waking dream. Everything worked out. Everything was underwater. There was peace. This has to be done. It has to be done.
Her eyes flick to the murky black water at the foot of the dam.
There was quiet. It was a dream, but it wasn't a dream. Do you know what I mean?
Jenna watches Heather, keeping close appraisal of her twitchy hand upon that revolver.
Yeah, I do.
Jenna responds flatly. I think we all do at this point. At least somewhat. I can see Flynn up on the rock ledge, moonlight glinting off the middle barrel of his repeater. He's looking at us with a curious expression.
Then you understand? You don't, do you?
The question must have been rhetorical, because she answers it before we can.
I knew it! I should have stopped you when you broke into my house. You're bad, just like the rest of them.
She raises the gun. There's the pitter-patter of small feet behind me, and next thing I know, Micah's right at my side. One of his paws is on the small of my back, the other outstretched in front of us.
Whoa, wait a second.
Heather's tear-filled eyes shift to the bat.
You again? God, why are you all here?
Hear me the fuck out.
No! Hear me out, idiot! Keith was like an umbrella. All the bad stuff just bounced off when he was around. After Keith left, everything went to crap, and you know it! Everyone started getting weird or leaving. You left, so you never saw how it got bad. You didn't have to watch it happen. We were all such good friends, and it's like I'm watching everyone dying. I feel like I'm dying. Micah? I almost called him Michael. Everything hurts, and I can't think well anymore. And Daddy...
She takes in a sharp inhale in between her fangs, sputtering a bubble of spit before catching her breath.
Just need to make it all go away, then everything will be fine. I'm going to move somewhere happy.
You can move and be happy right the fuck now. Nothing is stopping you.
Micah spits back.
This is the hum talking. You and I know this shit goes. Know how this shit goes. It'll pass, and you'll feel better. We'll all feel better.
No!
You know what this feels like to me?
What?
Okay. What is it, Harry?
I was gonna say, it feels like, what am I trying to say? Remember that scene of Mice and Men where he's like, just look at the flowers, look at the pretty, think of the bunnies.
Yeah, think of the rabbits. Tell me about the rabbits, George, and then Lenny Yeah, it's Lenny and George. Lenny is told to just think about the rabbits as George ends the book, is how we'll put it.
Yep.
Yeah. It does feel like they're like, I don't know, it's a weird situation because it's like a hostage situation, right? Like, so they're trying to be like, we're friends here, but they're like not, and yet they're in the right? Like, you're rooting for them, but they're also kind of manipulating her all at the same time.
Yeah, it's true. The only person here that is her friend is Micah, and even then, her and Micah have a strained relationship.
Like,
But it's
like
still,
you were saying,
it's still
Alan.
better than compared to like Jeremy and fucking Cliff. Or wait, no, what's his name? Not Cliff.
Yeah.
What's his name? Clint. Thank you.
Like, I'm not saying I'm rooting for her, because I'm not. She wants to,
Destroy the town.
commit mass murder, right?
The thing is, though, it is indeed mass murder. I'm not gonna lie and beat around that bush with you. There's only 50 people in this town, and she's just trying to prevent an atrocity like this from ever happening ever again. And
Again, Jenna
speaking,
Jenna does it in a different route, right?
Yeah, and technically when Jenna does it, you even hear the voice in Chase's head going, huh, I guess the cycle can end.
Yep, so like, it's weird because she's not wrong, but she's wrong. But, like, it's a very well-written villain, put it that way. And you almost... We're rooting for our heroes here, but...
She's wrong, but she's trying to do what could be the right thing if you have a different set of ethics, weirdly enough. Like, and that sounds wrong to say it like that, but, like, she's definitely in the gray morality.
It's the trolley. It's literally almost perfectly the trolley situation,
So she sacrificed
right?
these 50 people for...
the society.
Yeah, for, like, preventing a future atrocity.
Correct.
That could happen if people decided to settle here again.
Correct. And as we said, our protagonists and arches just get to have a happy old,
Yeah, I mean, they would never come here if it was flooded, so...
Yep. So...
And Brian sure as fuck doesn't know how to swim.
He should theoretically already be dead, but yes.
I know. She screams.
No, I love it. I love the way that this is written.
Mm-hmm. She screams, and Micah quickly ducks behind the edge of a doorway as she brings up her revolver. I do the same, though for a second, I think I see a flash of color behind her that wasn't there before. I peek past the edge of the concrete wall long enough to realize what it is. Jenna sees it too. That same tall, burned figure from Brian's dream. It looms in the back of the room, staring at us, waiting. It's almost like a statue, unmoving beyond little twitches where it suddenly shifted in position. It's unstable, or at least that's the best way I can describe it. Jenna.
I see it.
You can also hear the hum in the background. Heather's ranting about something, but it can't really focus. It's getting closer, another foot nearer to Heather.
What the shit?
Oh my god.
Jenna steps out from behind the wall suddenly, holding up the palms for paws.
Wait.
Astonishingly, both Heather and the thing stop. Though it's still very much there, looming in the background. It's as if the world itself is distorting around it. 3 holes pierce its face where eyes and mouth should be. I look back up where Flynn is at. He definitely should be able to see this thing. I have expect a shot to ring out at any moment. When I glance back, the thing isn't looking at Heather anymore. The dark holes are aimed toward the hill outside the door, where Flynn is. Heather stands wide-stanced, her fingers an inch from the trigger.
Heather, when I was growing up, I was very fortunate. It's not something I truly realized until relatively recently. Despite my circumstances at home, I truly had some incredible people and other things
Jenna's eyes briefly flick up to the figure.
Looking out for me.
The figure's head tilts ever so slightly.
Brian is dead. Your father. He's certainly fucking dead.
There's some zeal to Jenna's words, and it becomes rather evident she thinks this is a good thing.
And they can't hurt you anymore.
A thick tear streaks down Heather's cheek as Jenna takes a step closer, pointing outside to the south.
Back in town, there are still people who genuinely care about you. The ones who have stuck with you throughout all of this. Jeremy? Well, he's a complete turd, and I'd give him a piece of my mind if I saw him. But he genuinely likes you. Same with Clint.
But Clint talks about all the things we used to do to you guys growing up. All the things that were said. Why are you saying they're good?
What we do as children does not have to define us as adults. Heather, I don't honestly believe you want to hurt your friends.
Heather shudders, hugging herself. I'd honestly be tempted to rush her for the gun if that thing was standing behind her, watching Jenna speak. Heather sobs, her thin wrists trembling, as if the weight of the pistol in her paw had burdened her for far too long. Finally, they droop, the gun limply hitting the floor. I flinch, though thankfully it doesn't go off. The red entity lingers so close to Heather, it's practically touching her. Then, as if a great silent wind sucked it backwards, its body contorting into the pool, a strip of its flesh disappearing into the void. And then it vanishes, fading into nothing. I rub my eyes. It's gone. I can hear Jenna shudder beside me, before stepping up and taking the guide and keys and tossing them promptly into the water below. Micah picks up the gun, flicking open the chamber and spinning it with his thumb.
Out of bullets. Fucking hell.
Such a tense moment, and she couldn't do shit.
No, really, like that's the thing. That's why I love Heather as a villain. She was all like threat with the gun. She was out of bullets that entire time, and she was just doing this and trying to hold them off so she could accomplish what she thought was a good thing. She's genuinely like the one villain that's redeemable.
Oh yeah, no, she's... Again, I wouldn't use the word likable, but...
Understandable.
Yeah. Brian, fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck Brian.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Actually, don't. He'd probably like that too much. Give him a swift and painless death. Thank you.
Painful death.
Painful.
Yeah.
Painful.
No, painless. He'd enjoy a painful death.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
good for him. Let him go out on a high. And you know what? His high can be that we get to fucking destroy him with it.
Oh, God.
I don't care that he's getting off on that. He gets to have the pain. Look, I'm not gonna lie. When somebody's that violent and malicious towards other people, I kind of believe that they have fucking pain coming back towards them.
Fair enough.
You don't get to inflict pain upon others and get away scot-free. Flint gets down the hill, nearly tripping as he hustles over.
Man, fucking tit dirts actually did it.
Seb, do you think you'll ever like use the word tit dirts in your like actual language after this?
No.
I mean, you say that, but I started adopting "fuck me gently" after playing this game.
I want to start using shitiots because I think that's funny.
Idiots
I mean,
is great. I might actually.
I
adopt.
said weird one-liners that came to the top of my head as well. Like I think the one that came out of my head one day where I said monkey tits.
Mm. Micah and Jenna are staring at the spot where the monster was moments ago. Flynn, despite having us in his sights the whole time, seems oblivious.
Yeah, because it's him.
Yeah, he can't be in two places at once.
Here's what's weird to me. He doesn't seem... This red monster does seem to have an extra affinity for taking care of Jenna, which is kind of a sweet character arc for Flynn.
Well, remember, like, one of Flynn's last things that he had in his own route where he becomes the monster... Because, yeah, spoilers for anyone who's not seen this. I'll probably, like, throw a spoiler warning up at the beginning of this episode. Yeah, at the end of his route, he did kind of make amends with Jenna. And they, like, when he then, like, goes through all that and becomes fully the Red Socket monster, he goes on and, like, finds himself back in Jenna's childhood. Because he's forced to always go where there's horrible misery.
And he sees the garbage she's gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I will take care of her.
Yeah, this is somebody that I care for. I will check in on her and make sure she's not alone. And she even said he was kind of like my fucked up imaginary friend that I had throughout my childhood.
I just enjoy the image of Red Monster is Flynn and isn't evil, but is still freaking terrifying.
Oh yeah, no, he's terrifying looking, but he really is actually looking out for them. Anyway, Flynn.
You get the key to the city or some shit. Though that probably only unlocks the outhouse or something.
Michael walks past him, letting out a string of unintelligible expletives and shaking his head. I forgot. This is a new picture for certain.
Ooh.
The sun begins to rise past the mountains to the east, the sky starting to become illuminated with purple and amber hues. In the distance, you can barely make out one of the Mormon settlements down the river, on the edge of the reservation. I rest my head against the edge side of the truck, mentally exhausted beyond words. I try to think of the entity, but it's like trying to remember a dream, a fading horror that seemed so real at the time, but surely couldn't be. There's a soft thud beside me, and I soon realize it's Leo's butt, the wolf holding his concussed head in both paws as he rests beside me.
Ugh. All right, head out on her.
DJ and Carl approach, the ram shivering and the lynx gently rubbing his back.
Oh, we're going?
He helps the ram up into the back. I mean, in a bit, I guess. Jenna and Micah are talking to Heather. Flynn wanders over, throwing the rifle in the back before leaning his rump against the tire. In the past, when shit got tough, the lizard would always run off to deal with things on his own terms. Yet, here he is, slumped and exhausted like the rest of us. Finally, Jenna joins us. I give her a little thumbs up as I pass. She returns the gesture before sitting down as well. She props her chin up in her paws, her fluffy tail perked up to avoid getting smushed in the dirt. We sit in relative silence, beyond the faint sound of crickets and gently lapping water.
You know, I'm gonna miss this place.
Wow. Ugh. Literally everyone's like,
No.
Jenna glances over, frowning some.
You know I was joking, right?
I sure hope so.
I expected some laughter there.
I think you're plenty funny, Jenna. I respond tiredly. Micah, seemingly out of nowhere, comes up and props his elbow on the hood.
Shut up, Chase. Now, are we fucking off or what?
Pay to